So my name is Brad Cole. I'm the director of McGrath Lower Blue Mountains. I don't actually like to think of myself as a director or a boss. Actually, I like to think of myself as more a support person. I get the coffees in the morning. I'm there to chat about life. I'm there to chat about work and just really support all the team members, whether it be admin staff, property managers or salespeople, just to kind of achieve their own goals and then help our clients get to their best result as well. So yeah, I don't like to think of myself as a leader, just as a friend, someone there that's there to help. Yeah, it's kind of a funny story. It wasn't something that I kind of left school and wanted to do straight away. I was playing golf, trying to work out if I was going to turn professional, and my sponsor was a large national real estate brand, and I decided that I wasn't going to play golf anymore and that I actually just wanted to wear a suit. And so I went to him and said, look, you know, I've had enough of golf. And he said, well, why don't you get into real estate? And so I did. Yeah, I've been really proud of my real estate career. I've been actually very flexible throughout the whole time. I started off as a salesperson working in a suburb near Blacktown. I then moved up the mountains to work up here, but this is where I became really flexible and I started to do property management as well. And so I really started to give myself that whole view of what the real estate sector, if you like, was like. From there, I then opened up a real estate business and then started moving into more of those leadership roles and moved away from sales, but really got more heavily involved in the property management department. So my background of having done some property management early on in my career really started to come to my forefront, and I really started to help the business and also my clients immensely. You know, people talk about selling their house or renting it. I could give them some honest advice around both sides because I'd had like active involvement in both sides. For probably the last 10 years, I've really kind of stepped away from selling for just the general public, and I really just now work for my clients, my friends, and I move more into that leadership, but more team building, nurturing of the people around me, which has actually been something I've really enjoyed. I think one of the great things that's given me longevity in this industry is being able to deal with my clients, because I really enjoyed that because they were my friends, but then that has now progressed into working with my team and still getting to work with my clients, but working with my team and seeing them become the best agents they can be, seeing them do great jobs for their clients, getting referrals. You know, there's nothing more exciting for me when I talk to somebody and they say, where do you work? And I say, I work at McGrath. And they go, oh, you work with Danny, you work with Stuart, you work with Kenneth, you work with Gabrielle. You know, nobody ever says to me, oh, Brad, you own that business. And I love that, because that shows me that they're doing a great job for people and that they're representing the McGrath brand and they're representing me in the best light. Yeah, it's crazy to think I've been here for 40 years. My family moved here in 1983. You know, I was only kind of 2 years old. As a kid, it was a really great place to grow up. I grew up running around in the bush. I actually grew up, I mean, nobody knows where we are, but I grew up only about 1 kilometre from this location, and I played in the bush around here. The people were always super friendly. It was always a really safe place to go. You could run around in the street, and really that never changed my whole childhood. I left the mountains in 1998, joined the military, and kind of moved away from this area. And then after that, I went in and played golf, and I went over to Europe and I spent time overseas. And then when I thought about where I was going to go and where I was going to settle down, the mountains was just an obvious choice. When I came back to this area, I noticed that really it hadn't changed. The faces were different, but the people were just the same. It's always attracted that type of person, like a little bit more laid back. You know, people that love nature and really want to be a part of a community, which has really kind of led me down the path of them wanting to give back to the community. So, you know, I've been back in this area for probably 24 years, and since then I've done things like join the local fire brigade, so New South Wales Fire and Rescue. I'm a retained firefighter, so I try and give back to the community in their time of need. I've been lucky enough to be able to sponsor some sporting clubs around here, and also different individuals in their endeavours to kind of become better versions of themselves in our community, and I've been really, really thankful for that. But aside from seeing way more houses now and there's actually more people in the area, the people themselves are really, really similar, and we're obviously surrounded by this beautiful bush which doesn't really change. So that's something else that I've really loved about this area. but the changes, probably not as much as people would think, and that's something I am very thankful for. Yeah, it's a really tough one, and it probably comes down to actually what headspace I'm in. Sometimes I really love being social, so my favourite location in the mountains isn't like out in the bush or, you know, at home. It's actually just in a cafe where I get to sit down, have a coffee, just kind of chill out, and I get to chat to the people that I know in the area as they walk past. They love, you know, stopping and talking about real estate, talking about my family, talking about, you know, a whole range of different things, and I love to catch up with them and see how their families are going and see what's happening in their lives. Sometimes I do just like some time to myself, and in those moments there's two places that I would call my favourite. One is either just to go in for a walk in the bush and do a bush walk, or go for a run in the bush and just really kind of connect with nature. And then I still love to play golf, so, you know, my final place I'd love to go is the golf course. I don't love going out and walking and playing holes. I just love standing on the practice fairway and hitting golf balls, and I kind of just zone out and just hit them, and I watch the ball flight, and I know something for me that's very therapeutic. So I think they would have to be my favourite places. The coffee shop, because I get to connect with the community I love so much. The bush, because it gives me that time to be on my own, and then the golf course as well, because it gives me that time to be on my own and just kind of reset and recharge.